Hey, greetings, everyone. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Senior Fellow at the Media Research Center, with our little weekly video. If there's one theme I think that is happening right now, not just in the United States of America, but also overseas in Israel, and that is border security. When you think about last Friday when Hamas sent out the bell whistle and brought 30,000 demonstrators, as Bernie Sanders would say, but really there were some Hamas infiltrators that were in there to threaten and to try to instigate violence from the Israeli Defense Forces. Now, what ended up happening, rocks were thrown, there were tires that were burnt, and they were rolled toward the border. Israel has a right as a sovereign nation state to defend themselves. And I think one of the things that Bernie Sanders and others have failed to understand is that Hamas is a terrorist organization, and Hamas's charter calls for the destruction of the nation state of Israel, the Jewish state of Israel. And so when you now hear about some 17 individuals that were killed in that confrontation that started last Friday, which was going into the Passover weekend, it's just the same as it was Easter weekend, a very holy period for the Jewish people and also for Christians. And this was when Hamas decided they would start a new 6-week campaign. But some 10 or 11 of those 17 that were shot and killed by the Israeli Defense Force, well, guess what? They're members of Hamas and also Islamic Jihad, two very violent, very vicious terrorist organizations. So we have to come to understand that anytime a modern day nation state has its borders threatened, it is the right of that nation state to respond. And it is the right of that nation state to respond not in an equal proportion as the United Nations may want to believe, but to respond in a manner by which they send a very clear message. You will not infiltrate. You will not, you will not be able to press against our borders. And so that brings us to what we see happening in the United States of America today with this incredible march that the Mexican government is allowing. Now ask yourself this 1,000, 1,500, maybe 2,000 people that are coming in marching from Central America who crossed into Mexico. And funny enough, the Mexican border guards were not there at that border crossing point. They're allowed to transit all the way through Mexico, and now I believe they're some 400 miles short of the U.S. border. But what if those individuals were crossing the border into Mexico and they were intending to stay in Mexico? Do you think that they would have been allowed to have free entry across the southern border between the Central American country of Honduras into Mexico? Probably not. Because the Mexican immigration laws are far more restrictive, far more stringent than what we have here in the United States of America. But now the progressive socialist left, along with the Mexican government, seems to be in collusion to bring these individuals into the United States of America. And understand, this is a test case. This is no different from what Angela Merkel did in Germany and allowing this mass migration into Europe. And look at the second and third order, fourth order ramifications and consequences of what she allowed to happen. Look at the terrorism that has crept into Western Europe. Look at the threats and the assaults going against women. And at a time when we see more and more criminal illegal immigrants being able to go out and conduct their nefarious actions against law-abiding legal Americans, why would we want to allow this to happen? See, what the left believes that they can put President Trump and the Trump administration in some very bad situation where they're going to have to make a decision against people that are, well, looking for humanitarian sympathy. If you want humanitarian sympathy, you can go to the embassy or the consulate there in your country and you can ask for asylum. But what they are looking to do is to invade the borders. They're looking to violate the sovereignty of the United States of America. And understand with some of the pressing policies that you have, such as in California with the sanctuary state, as soon as they get into California, I would not be surprised if they were allowed to disperse and never be seen or heard from again. But you know what? They could probably get counted in the next census, since the state of California, along with 11 other states, have brought a lawsuit against the Trump administration, the United States federal government, for just wanting to ask people, if you're in America, are you an American citizen? What type of affront is that to anyone that wants to be an American citizen and that is here legally? So I think it is very important for President Trump and the Trump administration to make sure that they do not allow these individuals to cross into the United States of America, because if they do, there will be a second and a third wave that will come across the border to the United States of America, which will render our borders not just porous, but irrelevant. And in closing, I'd like to talk about the deferred action for childhood arrivals. President Trump has said DACA is dead. And he's right. Because ask yourself, is an unconstitutional executive order given by a previous president law? Well, of course not. It's an unconstitutional executive order. As a matter of fact, the enumerated power in matters of naturalization, immigration, is granted to the United States legislative branch, to the Congress in Article 1, Section 8. So why is it that we are sitting around and allowing Article 3 courts to believe that they can make a ruling against something that's an unconstitutional executive order? Because Article 3 courts are supposed to make rulings, they're supposed to make adjudications based upon the rule of law, not executive orders. So the DACA program is dead. It died because obviously the Democrats did not want to do anything for these, 800-some thousand or 1 million that are here. And they also don't want to do anything about protection of our borders. For whatever reason, the Democrat Party truly believes that supporting criminal illegal immigrants and overall supporting illegal immigration, these policies of sanctuary states and cities, is a winning combination for them. I think they're going to find out in November 2018 that it is not. And the blue wave will not be anything more than a ripple in a pond.